Smart 24, driving business.
Yes, we'll be back from the break exactly 19 minutes to the top of the hour. And now heading straight into what is happening into the world of Caribou. Now, the push for genetically modified products on the dining table, it's gathering momentum, that is in Kenya. Now, the push for the adoption of genetically modified organism foods is on course as the National Biosafety Authority says it has received an application of environmental release of field cultivation. And see that placing on the market of the genetically modified maize, that is the Z maize. Now, the application for the commonly known as the BT maize was jointly submitted by the Kenya Agriculture Stock Research Organization and the Africa Agriculture Technology Foundation. Now, the BT maize has actually been developed using modern biotechnology methods to protect itself against specific pests such as the maize stem borers and fall armyworms, which are devastating pests in the maize fields. Now, as a result, the farmers expect less damage to their maize crop, which actually may lead to increased harvests and better quality grains. Now, this could also lower the production costs and reduce the risks to health and the environment by using fewer insecticides used for pest management. Now, in the line with Kenya's Biosafety Act, that is of 2009, the NBA is currently assessing these maize to ensure that it is safe for the human and animal consumption, as well as being safe for our environment, says Nehemiah Netish, the acting Chief Executive Officer of the National Biosafety Authority. Now, he said that other evaluations are being taken. That is include the socioeconomic impact assessments related to the BT maize varieties. Now, if the authority approves the environmental release and open cultivation of the BT maize, further testing shall be conducted to evaluate its performance under the different maize growing zones in Kenya. That is in accordance to the Seeds and the Plant Varieties Act, which mandates that all new crop types undergo testing in the national performance trials before the farmers can actually grow them. Now, during the 41st full board meeting held on the 5th of June 2021, the National Biosafety Authority approved the application of for environmental release of genetically modified cassava. Now, the approval was based on food, feed safety and environmental safety assessment, which showed that cassava varieties containing event that is 4046 are unlikely to pose a risk to human and animal health or to the environment when consumed as food, feed, or when cultivated in the open environment. Now, the variety was thus shown to be safe as the conversion of varieties that have actually been cultivated by farmers over the years. Now, this approval implies that Kenya is the first country globally to consider requests for environmental release involving the cassava crop. Now, the GM cassava has been developed using the RNA interference technology. Now, the RNA is a natural biological mechanism that regulates the expression of genes. Now, the improved cassava resistant to cassava brown stick disease because of the modern biotechnology used to express high levels of resistance. Now, the CBSD is a common viral disease present in Kenya and is spread by white flies and by infected cuttings. Now, the anticipated increase in cassava yields as a result of the intervention will actually significantly contribute towards addressing food security and nutrition and manufacturing. Now, the two are part of the government's Big Four agenda, which were launched to end hunger, achieve food security, improve nutrition, and promote sustainable agriculture. Sustainable agriculture is something that is a huge discussion all over the East African and most especially when it comes to the promotion of the genetically modified organisms. Now, the Law Society of Kenya, High Court last year dismissed the case alleging the importation of genetically modified foods, letting stand an earlier court ruling allowing the entry of the so-called GMOs. Now, the Law Society of Kenya petitioned the court, urging that genetically modified food was unsafe for the humans and that lifting a ban on its importation was unconstitutional. But in its decision, High Court Justice, that is Oscar Angnon, ruled that LSK failed to prove that such food was actually harmful for human consumption. So that is Kenya with GMOs. And actually, this country has been very vocal when it comes to anti-GMO. They are literally anti-GMO. They don't support the whole idea. Of course, with a belief of its possible threat to food security. You see that? Because when you plant the seeds, you cannot plant them again. You have to buy the fresh seeds. Unlike when you grow the crops the natural way, where you plant the seed, and when the crop grows, the seeds on that very crop can't be planted back. But with the genetically modified organisms, it's quite a different scenario that we see. Now, driving still into Kenya, now into another story. High interest rates drive borrowers to SACCOs. Now, this is in Kenya. Now, the central banks seem to be a little bit tricky for that side. Now, the Kenyan SACCOs reaped from the high interest rates on loans, that is by commercial banks, to set more customers looking for cheaper loans. Now, commercial banks have actually shown reluctance in cutting their charges on loans, despite the third consecutive reduction on the central bank rate to about 11.25% from the initial 12% and the 12.75% in October and August, respectively. Now, according to the 2024 Finaxis Household Survey, the overall SACCOs usage improved from 9.6% to 11.7% as more individual households joined the SACCOs, which offered loans at relatively lower rates during the high interest rate period. Now, mobile channels emerged as the most preferred usage mode at 70.6%. That is surpassing traditional SACCO usage at about 66.1%. Now, notably, rural users showed a higher preference for traditional channels at 75.1% compared to 60.7% in urban areas, reflecting differing levels of access and technology adoption. Additionally, older users demonstrated a strong inclination toward traditional channels, with 80.2% opting for traditional usage versus 41.8% for mobile charges. That is highlighting a significant generational gap in technology adoption. Now, traditionally, SACCO members primarily assessed services at SACCO headquarters, a practice now standing at 1.1% as the sector has actually embraced the technological revolution. Now, SACCOs have actually adapted the modern service delivery channels such as agency banking, internet platforms, mobile technology, significantly transforming the member interactions. Now, despite the shift towards technology, SACCO members continue to express strong confidence in branch-based services, particularly in rural areas where usage remains high. That is at 66.7% compared to 52% in urban settings. Now, in contrast, the urban members show higher adoption rates of digital payment options such as pay bill services, which the usage is at 28.5% compared to 14.3% in the rural areas. Now, interestingly, the female members prefer this channel more strongly than male members, potentially due to the simplicity and accessibility. Now, mobile phone-based platforms, including applications and the USSD, have also gained traction with urban users, slightly leading at 56.8% compared to 44.1% in rural areas. However, the gender differences in mobile usage revealed that male dominate at 51.6% compared to 47.8% among the female, a gap attributed to the perceived complexity of these technologies. Now, these insights highlight the evolving landscape of the SACCO service delivery, emphasizing the importance of addressing barriers to technology adoption, particularly in rural areas and among the female users. Now, tailored training and simplified user interfaces could actually enhance inclusivity and accelerate the shift towards digital channels. Now, the majority of respondents who ceased using the SACCOs identified voluntary withdrawal and an inability to maintain their accounts as the primary reasons for discontinuation. Now, interestingly, urban respondents were more likely to cite voluntary withdrawal compared to their rural counterparts. That is at 51.1% versus 47.4% respectively. Wow. Shifting from the traditional banks now to the SACCOs, I find that quite very interesting. And I think creativity, and when we have various sources of finance, actually, that means it kills the monopoly of the central authorities, of the traditional banks. And well, when people switch to the SACCOs, what decisions will the commercial banks then do towards the interest rates? Now, that is the big question here. That is the big question if we are to read between the lines. All right, now switching to the international side now, we're discussing matters of technology. Now, Google unveils a mind-blowing quantum computing chip. Now, Google has unveiled a new chip that it claims takes about 5 minutes to solve a problem that would currently take the world's fastest supercomputers 10 septillion. I mean, people that are IT enthusiasts can understand what I'm discussing about. Now, the chip is the latest development in a field known as quantum computing, which is actually attempting to use the principles of particle physics to create a new type of mind, some sort of a powerful computer. Now, Google says its new quantum chip, dubbed Willow, incorporates key breakthroughs and paves the way to a useful large-scale quantum computer. Now, however, experts say that Willow is for now largely experimental device, meaning a quantum computer powerful enough could actually solve a wide range of real-world problems in still years and billions of dollars away. Now, the quantum computers work in a fundamentally different way to the computer in the daily regular phone. Now, they harness quantum mechanics, the strange behavior of the ultra-tiny particles, to crack the problems far faster than the traditional computers. Now, it's hoped quantum computers might eventually be able to use the ability to vastly speed up the complex process, such as creating new medicines. Now, there are also fears that it could actually be used for example, to break some types of encryption used to protect sensitive data. Now, it can be used for the good, and it can also be used for the bad. Now, Hartmut Nathan leads Google's quantum artificial intelligence lab that created Willow and describes himself as the project's chief optimist. Now, he told the press that Willow would actually be used in some practical applications, but declined for how to provide more detail. But a chip able to perform commercial applications would actually not appear before the end of the decade, he said. Now, initially, these applications would actually be the stimulation of systems where quantum effects are important. For example, relevant when it comes to the design of nuclear fusion reactors, to understand the functioning of drugs and pharmaceutical development. It could actually be relevant for developing better car batteries and another long list of such tasks. So, what is Google really? This is very interesting. If we're talking about quantum computing, this is very interesting. And now this is, if we're talking about artificial intelligence, artificial intelligence and quantum computing. Now, quantum computing is quite on a higher dimension. it's quite on a higher dimension if we to look at it from the factual perspective. Now, finally, as we wind up the international and Caribou updates report, let's take a look at Morocco. Now, Morocco sees a record of about 15.9 million tourists in 2024. Now, Morocco's tourism industry is celebrating a major milestone with about 15.9 million visitors recorded by the end of November 2024, marking a 20% increase compared to the same period in 2023, according to the tourism ministry. Now, November alone saw a dramatic boost with about 1.3 million tourists arriving, representing a 31% increase over the previous year. Now, this surge reflects Morocco's growing appeal as a global travel destination. Now, a portion of the growth comes from the Moroccan residents living abroad who contributed a 17% rise in the visits. Now, this influx added an extra 1.1 million visitors, highlighting the strong connection between the Moroccans abroad and their home country. Now, tourism plays a vital role in Morocco's economy, accounting for about 7% GDP, according to my report. Now, it is also a key source of jobs and foreign currency, making the sector essential for the nation's growth. Now, to continue attracting tourists, Morocco has expanded air routes. Yes, Morocco has expanded air routes to key markets and is promoting a lesser-known destinations across the country, enhancing its appeal to a wider range of travelers. Now, Morocco's tourism strategy is ambitious. The country aims to welcome 17.5 million visitors by 2026 and 26 million by 2030. Now, when it will co-host the FIFA World Cup with Spain and Portugal. Now, these targets reflect Morocco's plan to solidify its position as one of the world's top tourist destinations. Morocco, 2030, co-hosting the World Cup with Spain. Interesting. So what is that really going to mean for the tourism industry in Morocco? What is it going to be like, in the few years that are yet to come? 15.9 million tourists in 2024. At least that is what the country is actually experiencing, and this is what we consider a major milestone, with a 20% increase compared to the same period in 2023, according to the tourism ministry, the information that comes in there. Well, that is it from the Caribbean East African International Updates. Let me go for the break. And when we return, we have our business tips and quotes are definitely into the pipeline. Stick around.